let's go ahead and get started with today's topic. I want to welcome you all to the Mylio Photos Coffee Break. My name is Angela Andrieux, and I'm a product evangelist for Mylio. And that just means that I'm here to help you be successful with the software. So if you've dug into that manual, I'm the one that wrote it. So if you have questions, this is who you want to talk to. I've also done a lot of the documentation that's on our support site. In our community, we have courses and all sorts of things to help you be successful. And I've been involved with most of that stuff. So if you have questions coming to these coffee breaks or my Ask Angela sessions that are on Tuesdays, this is a great place to get any questions you have answered. On Fridays, we go into a specific topic, and today we're going to talk about adding contact and relationship information in Mylio Photos. And this is one of our new features that we very recently added. It was in 24.1, and it's really cool, some of the things you can do with it. So let's go ahead and jump right in. I'm going to share my screen, and we'll walk through what you can do with this new feature. So let me go ahead and get my Zoom windows out of the way so I can see what I'm doing. There we go. All right. So right now I am in People View in Mylio. And you'll notice over here, because I have somebody selected, we have some new fields that have appeared. Now, I've got a lot of people in my library, and I definitely want to work here on my Mima. This is my great-grandma Hazel, but we called her Mima. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to do a quick search here. And this is going to bring me to my search field. I can type in Hazel, and there she is. So whether you're in People View or you're here in search, you click on a single person, and these fields are going to pop up. Now, if you go into that person's collection, if you click on an individual picture, you're going to be editing the metadata for that specific picture. If you want to work on the information about that person, make sure nothing is selected. So either click into the black area here, or you can go down here to this menu, and let's say something is selected. You can just choose select and none. And that's going to bring up all of these fields that you can now edit. So you can go through a couple of different ways to fill in this information. And certainly you don't have to fill in all of it. And if there's people that you don't know very well, you don't have to fill in any of it. So this is not an all or nothing situation. You only really have to add in what is useful to you. So this, like I said, was my great-grandma. She's deceased, so I certainly don't need to add in a phone number or an email address or her address, but adding in some relationships, her name, some important dates, that's all stuff that I can put in there. So for instance, if I go here into date and click the plus button, I can add in a birth date, death date, marriage date, and I can even put in custom dates. So if there's something specific to your family or your memories that you want to indicate, you can put in that specific date. And almost every single one of these, I think actually every single one, has that custom field. So if you don't find the description that you want, you can add it as custom. So for instance, if we go down here to relationships, this is my paternal grandmother's mother. So I can go here and go to plus, and instead of mother or grandparent, I can scroll down, and there is no great grandmother. But I can say from her relationships, her daughter, that's what I want to find here, her daughter, and I can go ahead and put in a person's name. Now, right now, because the little person icon here is selected, you might not notice that there's also a text icon here. And this actually had to be pointed out to me because it's so faint, you can't really see the difference when the field is selected. So if you just want to put in a text indication of a relationship, and maybe that person's not actually in your Mylio library, you can go ahead and type that in. If that person you want to connect is in your library, click that person icon and then just type in the name. So there's her daughter, and that's my grandma. So now I've created that relationship here in Mylio Photos, and I can go ahead and hit save. And that's going to show up here under relationships. Now, what if you don't want to go ahead and edit and add all of this information by hand? We've got some great tools that can help depending on where you store information about people that you care about. You'll notice here at the bottom, I have 3 options. I can choose a FamilySearch contact. I can choose a contact. This connects to my address book on my Mac, or I can import a contact card, and that's going to be a VCF file, or otherwise known as a V card, that you can export for something like Outlook, from Gmail, pretty much all of the major email programs that have address books built in, you can export that V card. So there's many different ways you can do this, and then import that information here into Mylio Photos. If you're not seeing this Choose Family Search Contact, it's because you have the Family History panel turned off. So if you go up to More menu and you go here to Family History, you can see that I have it on. If I turn that off, that Family Search Connection button goes away. So make sure if you want to work with Family Search and other family history metadata, you go up here and you turn Family History on. Now what I want to do is connect this with the Family Search ID for my Mima. And I can go ahead and I can manually enter that. So I could go to the Family Search website, copy, paste, and put that information here. But there's an easier way. I can go here to choose Family Search Contact. It's going to ask me to log into my Family Search account. And let me go ahead and quickly grab my password because I've got it over here in my password manager on another screen. One moment. There it is. And I can copy that, paste that in, and choose sign in. And that's going to load up the people who are in my family tree. Now, if you have a massive family tree that goes back many, many generations, I do believe there's a limitation to the number of generations it'll go back and it'll display. But anybody back 4 or 5, 6 generations, you should be able to link this way very, very easily. So you can see everyone in my list here is in here alphabetically, and I can just scroll down and find Hazel. There she is. And choose continue. And that's going to go ahead and fill in pertinent information that Family Search has on my great-grandmother. So now I have her birthday, I have her death day, I have other connections here. I have her grandson, which is my uncle, her granddaughter, which is my aunt. And all of that information was automatically populated from Family Search. Now, one thing to note, and this has been a question that I've gotten a handful of times, is when you connect to Family Search this way, this does not share any of your personal information with Family Search. This is downloading their information to your Mylio catalog about that person. So there are ways to share photos with Family Search, but you have to choose to do that. Keep in mind, Mylio is really big on privacy. So sharing is never done without your express permission. So there's really no catch or downside to adding this information. It just gets this information into your library, which is very, very cool. Now, going down here and choosing a contact card or importing a contact card will just add additional information if I had it. Now, I mentioned my Mima is no longer with us. She died back in 1990, so she's been gone for quite a long time. But let me go ahead and go back, and I want to go back to my search, and I want to add a contact card for, let's just say, my cat. So when it comes to contact information, especially for people who are living and all of that, I respect their privacy, and I have a lot of that information in my personal address book that I don't necessarily want to share in an open forum like this. So I actually went into my address book for the sake of demoing this, and I created a contact card for my cat. And this is just to show you how you can bring in information from your address book. And this works on Mac OS, it works on iOS, so your iPads and your iPhones, and it works on Android. It's coming soon in some regard for Windows, but for now on Windows, you can import those V cards and those VCF cards because Outlook will let you export those, or if you use some sort of webmail, you can also export from those. But for now, I'm going to go here and I'm going to go ahead and choose McAllen. And you can see I don't have any information added for him. He's not going to be on Family Search because I haven't added him to my family tree. I'm not sure how they feel about adding pets for that. So let's go down here and say choose contact. And that's going to pull up my address book. So then I could just type in his name. There he is right there at the top. And by clicking that, it pulled in his birthday. It pulled in a fake phone number. I created an email for him at permail.com and so forth. I could even go in here to relationships because I have 2 cats and they are actually brothers, not just brothers because they both live with me, but they're brothers from the same litter. So I could go here and under person, I could type in his brother's name and add that family connection. Go ahead and hit save there. And so now those are all connected and that information is all associated with McAllen. So you can do that for all of the important people in your address book. And what that enables you to do is stay connected more easily with the people who are important to you. Let me show you how I do that. So I'm going to go up here and I'm going to type in, let's see, type in my mom's name. Find a picture of my mom, and let's go ahead and grab, I like this one of her and I. So There are a lot of different ways that we have in Mylio Photos to share pictures with friends and family. We have our new shared albums, and you can create those shareable links. You can export, upload them different places, copy and paste. But with 24.1, we made it even easier. So once you've added that contact information, whether it's an email address, a phone number, you find a picture that you want to share, you just click on the Photo Explorer button here. In addition to being able to look at GPS information if it's there and so forth, you now have the option to text or to email that person. So very, very easily, this would just open up the Messages app on my computer. If you did this on your phone, same thing. It's going to open up, I believe the text message option is coming soon on iOS and Android. And on your phone, on your phones, computers, you're going to be able to click here and go email. It'll open up your default email program and let you email that picture to that person. So I love this new feature. It makes it so much easier to stay connected. And as you're going through and enjoying your library, when you find something that's meaningful and you want to share it, this makes it super easy. Another thing I want to point out here is if I go back over here to our people view, and let's just do this. And let me grab here, I'm back here on Hazel. Let's just say I wanted to, if let's see, actually, let's find somebody I have a phone number in there for. So go down here and find McCallan again. There he is. Let's say I wanted to send him all of his pictures. So go in here, make sure that you have selected none. So right now I'm seeing this panel, so nothing is selected. And then I can simply click the email button here, and that's going to let me email the entire collection of all of these images. So keep in mind, if you have a lot of images here, this might clog up your email program. So I would say probably don't send more than 5 to 10 at a time. But if you have a small collection of images that you want to quickly share, you can just click this and this will automatically create an email with every picture of that person. So that's pretty cool as well. So from there, there's a lot of other things you can do. Once you have that family search information in here, if you added a family search ID, you can always click over to, let's see, let me go ahead and give you an example here. Let's jump back to Hazel. 1 second. So many people here, sometimes it's hard to find people. So you can see I've entered in this family search ID because I downloaded the contact card. If I go in here and then let's find a picture, and I've got a lot of information here. It's undated. I don't know exactly when this was taken, but I can add a title. I can add a description. I can change the file name. I do have people tagged. I don't know where this was taken, but let's say I want to upload this and add this to Family Search. So I can go up here to the top and you see that I have family history here. And again, that's because I have family history toggled on. If you're not seeing that option, just make sure you toggle that and have family history on. And here's this option to post memories to Family Search. So for every person in here who's connected to Family Search, that I've downloaded their information, that I have their Family Search ID, by clicking post memories to Family Search, this is going to connect it automatically, post this to the Family Search website. And because those faces are tagged, it's going to associate this picture with every tagged person in that image. It's remarkable. And we're going to do a separate coffee break sometime here in the near future on doing just this process. But I wanted to show you that that's there because it's a lot of fun and it's a great way also to share these historical photos with friends and family and other people who are in your family tree. All right. So from that, I want to go ahead and open it up to questions and see what everybody thinks of this new feature.
I have a question. This is Harold.
Sure.
On the relationship, all
Okay.
right? So you go to add a relationship, and for instance, as I was doing it, for instance, there's my grandson.
Okay.
So I clicked on his picture and I put down, selected the relationship as grandson, and then do I put my name?
So it would actually be the relationship of other people to him. So you would put in your son as the father,
Yeah.
and your daughter-in-law as the mother, and so forth. You would be listed as the grandfather.
So, okay, so the person, you put the relationship, I got it. so his you put down mother and put his mother's name. Got it.
Correct.
And grandfather would be my name.
Correct.
All right. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
I was doing it backwards.
It's easy to do. I almost did the same thing here when I was doing the demo, so I get it. You have to kind of shift your thinking and go, wait a second, not how they necessarily relate to me, but how they relate to other people in my library.
So
All right.
Angela, in the chat, there's a few questions. If you could start with Erin, she's asking about a maiden name field.
So
Right.
that's something
Yeah.
we'll consider adding in the future. We don't have that right now. What I do, let me go ahead and put this up here, is I've got first name and middle name, birth name, and then in parentheses, I put the maiden name. And this actually corresponds really well to like what FamilySearch does and so forth. And what I recommend is pick a way of formatting it and do it the same for everyone. So we may add a maiden name field in the future, but for now, this is the way that I recommend doing it. Let's see here. Let's see here. Lanny, would you use a larger cursor? Are you not able to see the blue circle? Because hopefully that makes it easier for you to see what I'm doing, Lanny. What else have we got here? It'd be great to have a nickname field. Again, that's a great point. So to see how I format it here, my husband, let me see if I can find him in the list. There he is. So he goes by Les. So his first name, and then I put in parentheses what a person goes by. So even if it's a name that's a little bit different, so I put nickname in quotes. Hopefully that helps. And again, we might add that field in the future, but for now, this is how I handle it. Let's see here. What else have we got? Do I have a cat named Johnny Walker Black? Good question, but no, I just have the two. I have McKellen and Glenlevitt. It's good to know that there's fellow Scotch drinkers in the group. Lori says, are they individual files or a link? Lori, I'm not quite sure what you're asking there.
When you're sharing, when you brought up all the cats in the collection and you were sharing it by email.
Yeah, those would be the individual files. If you wanted to create a shareable link, that's totally doable as well. So let's say I want to take all of these pictures from my husband and share them with him with the shareable link. I could simply go over here to share and grab get shareable link. So that is also an option. It's just a different way to do it. Because yes, a big group like that would totally clog up the inbox. Can you change the size of the photo to email like export option has? I believe it does walk you through the export process. Let's give that a try real quick. So let me go back to the all photos. It's a picture of me and my mom. And let's go to, let me just email that to her real quick. So yes, it does pull up the sizing so you can choose what you're exporting. Great question. When we bring in new pictures, do we have to have Mylio identify them, or does Mylio automatically do this? So when you bring in new pictures, what Mylio is going to do is going to scan for recognizable faces. When it finds a face that's recognized, it's going to end up here in the untagged area. So let me just double click this, go back up here to the top, and you'll see that there's an untagged collection. From there, you can go in and tag faces one by one, or you can go into the batch tagging tool. So that's over here. You click on tools, batch face tagging, and that groups together similar faces so you can more quickly tag people. So that's a great question.
Thank you.
All right. And John says under relationship options, are there coworker, associate, couple, others, any timeline on groups? I'm going to venture a guess that later this year, we're going to see groupings. So family, coworkers, acquaintances, things like that, not necessarily that exactly, under people view. So you can kind of group together those different relationships. I think that's coming later this year, but that's a great question. And then yes, under relationships here, you do have the option to do coworker, manager, assistant, other, and you can even add custom. So there you go. And then I see Larry has been patiently waiting. Go ahead. I see your hand is raised.
Yeah,
Floor is
is this load from FamilySearch a one-time thing, or if I change something on FamilySearch, does it get reflected
It's a
in
one time.
one time?
Yep, but you can
So-
always go back in and refresh it. So reconnect it again, and then it'll add that additional information that you put in there. One thing to note is if you add information from multiple sources, let's say you add from FamilySearch, you also choose a contact card, and that brings in several different dates. It'll bring in several, perhaps several different phone numbers. You can go in and clean that up. So you can go ahead and drop down that list, click on the edit, and then you can delete extra information that doesn't need to be there, or if it brings in duplicate. And while that might seem like it's a little bit inconvenient, personally, I'd much rather have that than having it overwrite things that maybe I put in there manually from a different source. So that's how that works. All right, any other questions?
There's another Angela in chat, and she had a question. I'm asking her to repost it, or maybe she can just jump in and ask the question.
Oh, I didn't see another Angela in the chat.
Yeah.
Did she send it to you personally?
She sent two, and so I deleted one of them and it deleted both. It
Oh.
duplicated it. So sorry about that.
Well, yeah, if you want to go ahead and, oh, there she
There it
is.
is.
Mac
Perfect.
Studio has no memory left because of Mylio. It's 382, a copy from external drive. So when you import it and you do a copy import, it depends on where you choose that copy to go. What I would recommend is if you are on Mylio Photos Plus, which is our paid subscription, you can add that external drive as a vault. So you would go over here to the dashboard and you would click on add and select that external drive. Once you do that, you're going to add it. If you have enough room on there to add it as a vault, you can even choose this option here. And then you would go to your Mac and go here to device sync policies and make sure that's set to space saver. And that's going to do its part to free up that space on your hard drive. All right. Hopefully that answers your question, Angela. Feel free to unmute and clarify if you have any other questions. All right. You're very welcome. Any other questions today?
Thank you so much. It's Angela.
You're very welcome.
Yeah, all right. That'll help a lot because I put it on to a brand new hard drive that was 8 terabytes.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was trying, it said to change it or delete it, change the name or delete the original one on your computer and then redirect it. So I actually took my my Mac Studio off as a completely out of my account. So I have to put it back on and then I'll
Okay.
just make that hard drive a vault and then I'll start over, right?
Yeah, you can do that. The other thing is if you want to fully start over, you can just add that folder from the external drive as a linked folder instead of doing a copy.
Okay. All right. I have
So
so many
what that does
different
is it leaves
devices.
it where it started.
Okay, that sounds perfect. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
All right, thanks.
All right. Any other questions today?
Angela, this is Larry.
Hey, Larry.
I built my tree on Ancestry
Mhm.
and don't have it on FamilySearch. Now, there was discussion of perhaps someday having a link to Ancestry. And I'm wondering if I should wait for that or try to export everything from Ancestry into FamilySearch. I'm kind of torn with what to do.
I can understand. So I know that we'd like to work with Ancestry. I don't know when or if that's actually going to happen. It's something that we're working on, but when you're working with another organization, it's a matter of, if they want to integrate with you or not. So I don't have any firm information on that, unfortunately. So it's hard to tell you to go ahead and up and move your entire family tree or copy it over. One of the reasons we worked with FamilySearch in particular is one, they're a free service. So like Ancestry is wonderful and it's got some great features, but it's very expensive and a lot of people, just can't afford it. So FamilySearch is free and the resources there are pretty tremendous as well. The other thing is they were very eager to work with us and they jumped on board very quick and wanted to work with us. So what I would recommend is if you're wanting to stick with Ancestry, not only to make requests in our feature requests, but also go to Ancestry and tell them you want them to work with Mylio Photos. So in whatever their feature request system is, tell them that this is important. And the more they hear about that from you, the more impact that's going to make and the higher the likelihood of us having a successful partnership. So short answer is, I don't know if you should move. But if you want to take advantage of the FamilySearch integration that we have, you might want to build a tree there as well. And there are things in FamilySearch that you can search Ancestry if you have an account there and pull in a lot of that information. I haven't tried it personally, but it does look pretty cool. All right. Any other questions? Yeah, you guys, I love FamilySearch as well. I've had so much fun building my own family tree, and I have lost hours researching my family history. It's the coolest thing. All right. Well, if there's no other questions for today, we'll go ahead and wrap up. I want to thank you guys all for being here today. And I hope you'll join us on Tuesday for Ask Angela. We'll have another coffee break next Friday and lots of other opportunities for you to ask questions and get answers. If you're loving Mylio Photos, please tell your friends and family. And make sure you tell them that there is a free version to use on a single device so they can go ahead and try it out and find out why you love it so much. So with that, thank you, Lori, for posting all the links in the chat and keeping me on track and making sure I didn't miss anything. And we'll hope you have a wonderful weekend, and we'll see you next week.